Welcome to the Dr. Henry Cecil McVeigh Center for Teaching and Learning Excellence at Wiley University. I'm your host, Dr. Ouida McAfee, Assistant Provost of Innovation, and today joining us is Dr. Paul Bryant, Head of School at Carolina International and former Associate Provost of Enrollment Management at Albany State University. Welcome, Dr. Bryant.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Mack. It was a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. We're going to be talking about high impact practices today. And so since you have been in a K or in you are in a K through 12 environment, been in higher education in enrollment management specifically. Let's talk about the high impact practice of college preparation.
Indeed, it is a good question. And having the benefit of being in both locations, of being in higher ed for nearly 20 years, and then coming back to public education in my second tenure here. I have credentials in both areas, both as a school principal and superintendent, and also there in higher education. One of the things you have, because you have the benefit of hindsight, being able to actually see what it is like having students in the college setting, then getting back to and having a school with high school students there. And we graduate somewhere between 60 to 75 students a year at this school. There's about 1,000 students that go to school there in K-12. And some do stay their whole 12 years. So every year we have a few students who stay their whole 12 years. We do start looking at and seeing exactly what they need to increase the number of students who are applying for and being accepted at 4-year and 2-year universities as their preference continues to go. So one of the first things we started doing with the high impact pieces is really looking and seeing what works. We started, first of all, looking at college life seminars. They needed to understand what college life was going to be about. They had not been getting that on a routine basis. They do have some courses that they take about career prep, but it doesn't really get into what is it going to be like with them being on a college campus. And so we have, college students come in and talk with them. We talk with them ourselves about, but the wonderful world that is in a college setting to get them excited and to dispel any myths they might have when it comes down to that and being a part of that. The other piece is, like many schools, many states, North Carolina has mandatory college prep exams. We do the ACT. Some states do the SAT, some do the ACT. North Carolina does the ACT. And we give it a pre-ACT to 10th graders. All 10th graders, regardless, has to take that. And we give the ACT to all 11th graders. Well, it's become so routine that they really don't even take it seriously. So we started giving them pre-training in ACT, giving them courses and stuff in there. And we also bring them together before they take it. About a week or so before they take that exam, we come in and we talk with them. All 11 grades, I want to see them all about doing your best, whether you intend to go to college or not. Don't make this decision at this stage of your life, because many of them will do so in the 10th grade, 11th grade. They get to the 12th grade and they start calling saying, I decided I want to go to college. You say, well, then that 16 on that ACT probably wasn't a good idea, And even though these students have a 3.5 or one had a 4.0 and did not even get to to 20 on an ACT, but he had capability. But at that point, he just admitted, you know what, it was just a test, man. I didn't feel like it that day. I didn't think it was nothing. I just walked away. So he has to retake that and getting that up and going. So we started telling them to take it seriously the first time. And doing that over the last few years, we saw our average ACT score go up by at least about 12 points in average. Just having them take it seriously. They just were not taking it seriously. And we have a number of them that were scoring in the 30s. or the high 20s. And that just wasn't happening before. I mean, we had so many 12s and 14s. It was just killing me. But taking time to explain the ACT, explain the SAT, and then getting with the teachers to say, we need to increase the rigors as well in English and in math so that they can challenge these exams a bit better, works out very well. And then, of course, we had to put school counselors, which were trained and being able to do career counseling in front of them. Yeah, we had a school counselor, but she had never done career counseling before and didn't know what the requirements were to graduate from high school, let alone what it takes to get into college. So we had to change that, get someone in front of them that were really able to talk with them about what college was all about, and what it would take for them to prepare themselves accordingly to get into that. The other thing was application assistance. They needed to know. So we would sit down with the parents. We would sit down, the parents and the student, and we would just take them through. We'd take it through the whole application process, the Common App, the time period, when free apps were coming up, everything. So we just started putting a lot of this in front of them and then celebrating the successes when the students actually did get accepted. And the biggest thing, is just taking them on a college tour. They just had not been doing college tours. You've got to get them out of there. And doing the college tours was just extremely good. We took them to both HBCUs, the PWIs, the private, the public. So every year we take them to about 5 colleges. At first it was just get on the bus, let's just go. But after a while, the bus got full. We started saying, okay, let's try to make some things in here that's going to be contingency that's going to help us out because we can't just keep taking everybody. And now we take people that are a bit more serious, that they're ready for it. They get up and going. It's just things that they see and what they come back and tell us, whether it is a private or whether it is a public, interacting with those college students and they've seen everything from gospel choirs to the student government president talking with them and letting them know what it was all about and stuff. And some professors came in for the University of Charlotte. They had a lot of professors come in there to talk with them. You can't buy that type of exposure. And then, of course, they have to eat on the campus. I got to insist. They have to eat on the campus, whatever it costs. They're going to eat in that student union because that environment alone helps them to understand what the socialization piece is for those colleges. And they can see those students come in, come out. You can see the eyes light up, everybody just wants to be with, with each other when they see those types of things going on. And it's just amazing for them to being able to actually see that. So I think, those 5 things are just very, very important. You've got to get them in tune to what they're trying to do. So the college overviews are important. The ACT test or the SAT, they got to take those things seriously so that they can be ready for the rigors. The school council is important. The application assistance is important. And you got to get them on the college tour. Those things worked for us, and we saw big differences and stuff when I first got there, 3.5, almost 4 years ago now, and seeing where it is at this particular time period and stuff. It's just wonderful to see. It's great to see. And it's definitely recommended for anyone who wants to be able to see some differences in those applications and in the number of students who are applying for college. You have to follow some of these things that could make the greater difference in those who take it seriously and those who do not.
That's really good information. Tell us about a time that's most memorable to you as it relates to being on a college campus and college preparation.
I think the most important piece is who you meet when you're there. You don't remember every single piece of what goes on and every class that you've ever taken, but all of us remember the connections to people who are sometimes the first ones who believe that there's something special in you. That's more valuable than anything. And that's why we say, even at the college level, and we talk to other colleges who have done very well, with their own high impact, type of, of programs and services that they offer. One that comes to mind is the Commonwealth of Virginia. I mean, which now can say, regardless of their demographics, ethnic demographics, they don't see a significant difference in the graduation rate anymore. Well, how did in the world did they change that? It was really about making certain that they had these high impact types of services offered. But key to that was the connection to the campus and the connection to those on the campus who would inspire greatness within those students. That was just very, very important. And so some of the articles I've seen on that over the years really talks a lot about how they made those particular connections, how they changed the dynamics, how they changed students' minds. They boil down that recipe of those who graduate, those who didn't, those who were trying. Personal connection. Someone there has to care about those students and care that they want to graduate. And that's the one that you place in front of them.
Let's continue with this conversation. How do you make faculty on a college campus or university campus feel comfortable with high impact practices as it relates to college preparation?
The faculty are very busy, and they oftentimes, even though they may want to get more involved, don't always have the time, because many of them are doing so many different things, not just teaching, but also trying to publish and doing other things in there. I would say you create what you want them to do in a way in which it is seamless for them to do it. So if I'm in criminal justice, then create the criminal justice type of organizational structure for their club and organization, but make it such that they have little need of me except for the inspirational piece that is necessary. I come in every once in a while and I wow them with my knowledge and my intrigue. Those things are important, and a faculty member can certainly do that. But the organization has to survive without them. The structure has to be together without them being so involved. Those things seem to work very, very well. And you got to put the successes in front of them, like the nursing department, which is, we know all this is huge. If you're in the major, if you find yourself to get in there, and you're able to, you be a part of their club and organizational structure, they covet their people and they continue to have them going in a very strong matriculation venture there. And, granted, yeah, they got to have sit rates, they got to have pass rates, but they take it very seriously. And they do the same thing for the Department of Education. So some of the majors are doing very well because the students are cohorted. They are together. They are being able to track the stuff in there. Organizations and disciplines that are not need to get on that bandwagon, but they need to see the potential success of being able to do just that, and to do it in a way in which it has minimum impact on the faculty member as well. Give them a reason to say yes with almost no reason why they should say no. That's how to get them involved. But they have to feel that you understand and value their time in there. You start out like that. You say, that's why we just want you to three times in this semester touch points with these students, and come to them and talk to them about what it is, what is important, why this major is important, and what it would take for them to continue on to do what needs to be done and stuff to get that through that. Working that through, say, your counseling center would work out very well for at least the organization is strong. And no matter who the faculty member is, they're just coming in for the extra value, the extra push to say, here's why we want you to stay in physics and continue on and continue doing what you need to do. Hear it from the guru herself. That's important. But he only has 15 minutes and he got to get back to class, and you take that under consideration.
What other advice do you have to universities as it relates to college preparation?
It is important that the universities at this point understand the decentralization of public education. Not every university has quite taken this on. The decentralization of public education means that those students who are more apt to go to college and graduate may not be in the public school system. So if you're not going after the charter schools and the other private schools and the Montessorios and everything else out there, then you're missing out. What we don't have is the connection between it. There are over 40 charter schools in Mecklenburg County alone. There's about 210 in North Carolina. I will guarantee you those who have college prep types of focuses on there, very few. I would say it's probably less than 20% who are connected to a campus of some sort. It just doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. Even we have very few who ever come to our campus, maybe one every 2 or 3 years, it seems like, from what I could ascertain. So we decided to take them there. But we don't have them beating down the door saying, we know you got 60, 70 students in here. We want them all. Well, that's not happening. So they need to build a relationship with them. So if I'm, there in Livingston College, or I'm there in UNC Chapel Hill, or I'm there, as a UNC Charlotte, or even if I'm down there in Texas at Wiley, I want to know every single organization that has high school students there. And I need to be a part of that table. I want to be able to get them to this particular school, because oftentimes they may take a different path anyway, because the other big schools aren't going after them because they're busy, at North High School. They think all of them are there because they have 2,000 students. But you may have another 2,000 that are simied around 200 or 300 institutions that you got to get to. So they definitely have to branch out. They got to get to these new decentralized locations of these schools, and they need to build these relationships so that they can start to see a direct connection with that. And if you can do that with the dual enrollment, which means they're already at a community college, and you have that 3-tier there, and you got the public school, you've got their community college that they're doing it, whatever it's community college that they're doing their dual enrollment, and you got a 2+2 program that says if you do this, you come into our campus automatically. You're in. That's golden. But who's building that? I mean, I would love to have an MOU, but it's just not happening because I don't think they understand how the decentralization has taken place, and the clock is ticking.
Thank you, Dr. Bryant. We've been talking to Dr. Paul Bryant. Until next time, go forth inspired.
Thank you very much.